Point number one that really helped me was understanding why I wanted to lose weight, why I wanted to get fit. This was the real key to actually getting started and staying consistent throughout the entire process. You're going to want to lose weight for internal or external reasons. Examples of external reasons are losing weight for a vacation, for an event like a wedding, because of the trends on social media, or because of the criticism of family members or friends. Internal reasons, on the other hand, are reasons that are personal to you that only come from within, such as wanting to improve your health, wanting to be more disciplined, wanting to have healthier habits, wanting to invest in your health and longevity. So not just thinking about the now, but also what you will look like and feel like in the future as you get older. Those are examples of internal reasons, and I will share as a longer point. This is my longest point, I promise. My reason for training shifted from being an internal reason to an external reason. I don't think I shared this, but during the process of getting fit and healthy, I decided to enter a competition in 2020 for bodybuilding. And that became my main focus, was training for that competition, wanting to eat and exercise just like the bikini competitors did so that I could have the best chance of placing in my first competition ever. My goal was now just tunnel vision on the competition, and I didn't realize it at the time, but I no longer cared so much how I felt. I was willing to do anything to chisel my body to look the way that I needed to look to enter that competition. Fast forward a couple of months into March of 2020, I had been training for about 6 months already. Everything was canceled, and I slowly started losing my motivation. That was something that was pretty eye-opening in making the notes for this video. I was trying to figure out what exactly shifted, because sometimes during our lowest points, we will find the motivation to do the hardest things. And I realized that the reason that happened was because my why had shifted from being completely internal and health focused to being completely external and related to the competition. Once that was canceled, so was my motivation, and that was really eye-opening, so I wanted to include that as point number one. Point number two is to properly track your progress from the very beginning. And again, I'll elaborate more on these points, especially as I share how I lose weight and get back on my fitness routines. But to track progress, it's important not to just focus on the number that you see on the scale, or to purely focus on a number that you want to reach on the scale. It's important to track your progress by taking measurements of the different areas of your body, taking photos in different lighting, and if you're weighing yourself each day, which I don't necessarily recommend, you're weighing yourself every day, doing it at the same exact time, wearing the same clothes. Proper tracking from the very beginning is going to ensure that you see all of the progress that you're making, because the number on the scale can shift for various reasons. But if you're not seeing progress in other areas like your measurements and the way your body's changing in photos, then you might get very easily discouraged and decide to throw in the towel. Again, this is all about building the strongest mental foundation you can possibly build to ensure that these habits are here to stay. So points number 3 and 4 are very similar, and they have to do with research. Point number 3 is research your food, and point number 4 is research exercise. It's so hard to make changes in your eating habits if you feel like you're being deprived. In order to feel good about the things that you're eating, you might have to do some research and understand what kind of nutrition you're providing your body with. I know that it's a popular thing to cut out carbs, but honestly, before I started training, I didn't even know that fruits and vegetables are considered carbohydrates. They fall into the macro category of carbohydrates mainly. Most people think that carbohydrates are potatoes, pasta. That's really what I thought. There was a lot that I didn't know about the macronutrients of food and the nutrition that I was providing my body with. The reason that this can be helpful is because if you're eating the right foods and providing your body with the right nutrition, you're less likely to experience cravings and hunger. You're really going to give yourself an advantage to maintain the goals that you have for yourself. If you do the same for exercise, you're more likely to continue feeling motivated throughout the entire process. Now, some of the things that you may want to research when it comes to exercise, depending on where you're going to be exercising. If you're going to be going to a gym, trust me, gyms can be really intimidating if you're going there for the first time and you just see a sea of equipment and have no idea how to use any of it. I would recommend going to the gym during off hours and make an appointment with one of the trainers or gym staff members and have them show you how to use the equipment that you want to use. There are also tons of videos here on YouTube that you can look at to get more familiar with the equipment. If you're planning on working out at home, again, doing some research on beginner workouts that you can do at home, I would focus on things that are fun. So if you like dance, doing something like Zumba or HIIT workouts at home would be a good starting point. But doing research in these two categories is key, because going into it without having this information is going to make you feel more overwhelmed and less in control. Having all the information will boost your confidence and you'll just go in there and know exactly what to do. Point number 5 is focus on one of those two categories, either nutrition or exercise, and really build the habits in that category first. I personally think it's easier to focus on nutrition first, because when you're focusing on nutrition, you're already eating throughout the day. So it's not something that you have to start learning how to do. It's something that you have to start tweaking. And in that way, it makes it just slightly easier to focus on than starting with exercise. Also, you can't outtrain a bad diet. So starting with food first and really learning nutrition, really learning what you're eating each and every day is going to help you more than if you were to train for 5 to 6 hours a day. So in summary, deciding which one of the two you want to focus on first and then adding in the other slowly as you go along. Number 6 is awareness. When I first got started, there was a lot of information about tracking your macros and tracking your calories. And at first I found it extremely overwhelming to have to track and weigh and really portion out all of my foods. For this point, I would recommend building awareness around your eating and exercise habits by writing down what you're eating and what you're doing each day. Not necessarily tracking macros and calories, but just writing down what meals you're having and how frequently you're eating. If you want to take it a step further, I would also jot down any feelings that you have after you've eaten, how full you feel, any cravings, and see if you can find any patterns as you track throughout the weeks. If you feel like you want to step it up a notch and start tracking calories and weighing foods and things like that, that's definitely going to be helpful for you. But for me, when I was first starting, it was helpful to just whip out my phone and jot down, I had a banana as a snack, or I had 2 hard-boiled eggs and toast, or whatever I was eating for that meal. Then later on throughout the week, checking to see the consistency between the meals and seeing if there were any patterns with when I was feeling cravings, what I was craving, and how I dealt with it. Point number 7 is to remove tempting foods from your refrigerator and or pantry. Now that many of us are working from home, we're more likely to take more frequent trips to the refrigerator or the pantry. If you can remove those tempting foods from those areas so that you don't feel tempted to have them, it's going to help you so that you're not craving things that you don't want to include in your diet during this time. I have a lot more to say on that as well, but for now we'll just keep it simple and say remove all those temptations from your fridge and pantry. Point number 8 is to share this process with supportive people. For example, just here on my channel, I see that I could have a really great virtual support system with channels that are also geared towards health and fitness. Some channels share their yoga routines and classes, while others share lots of motivation and their daily workouts. That's an example of how you can connect with people that are going to support your process. I do know some people though who would look at me and say, you look perfectly fine the way you are. Don't try to lose weight, you're gonna be too skinny or it's not gonna look good, and maybe try to give me a couple cheeseburgers at a barbecue. Those are people that mean well, and I certainly loved to be around those people when I wasn't ready to start training, because I didn't want to feel judged and I wouldn't want them telling me the opposite, which is you're too big, no cheeseburgers, lose some weight. So everyone is entitled to their own opinions and their own visions and their own ideas of weight and how people should look. but it shouldn't affect you, and therefore limiting the conversations about your goals around weight loss and fitness would be helpful to building your mental and emotional strength through the process. My ninth point is to build your habits really slowly. I do plan to make a video, so please check back if you're interested in the art of habit building. I find it absolutely fascinating that in everything that we do, we're either reinforcing a current habit or an old habit, or forming a new habit. And really the winner is going to be whichever one you do the most. So the more we work on a habit, the longer it gets ingrained in your daily routine and lifestyle. I really want to emphasize for this point to just build your habits slowly, know that it takes time, and that you could always add on more new habits as the new ones start to stick. My 10th and final point is to move slow and steadily toward your goals. If you fall off one day or 1 week when you're away, or if you have events with your family, just be honest and forgive yourself for that and move on. You can always change it the following day. Like I said, you're either feeding an old habit or creating a new one. And if your intention is to continue creating new habits, really it's just a numbers game. It's really how often are you reinforcing this new habit? Don't beat yourself up for it. Just focus on getting on track the following day and then take it from there. Those are my 10 points. I will be making some follow-up videos to these because I am going to be using all of this to get myself back on track. And I honestly felt a little silly doing this because I don't feel like I look fit enough, but having this information and having been through the process once made me feel that others would resonate with the information, and therefore I decided to go ahead and share it. I will also say before I close that a couple of years ago, I would never have been comfortable sharing this much online, sharing my current physique and weight if I had not built the confidence to train and get myself in good shape and health. So now being at a lower point, I feel comfortable sharing the process of getting to a healthier weight and feeling. Please comment below. I'm curious, especially all my fitness channels, what your current goals are. I'm really curious to see what people are doing, especially since we're about halfway through the year and those New Year's resolutions are either in full throttle or they've kind of fallen off. So let me know in the comments and I will see you in the next one.